At the beginning of the movie, we see a man named Lesmana sitting anxiously in his living room, staring at his family picture on the wall. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. When he opens it, a strange woman is standing there. He invites her in and tells her to go upstairs, since it's clean and spacious. But instead, she walks toward the cellar door and opens it. There, she begins preparing for a ritual and places a severed goat's head in the center of a symbol. She then asks him if he has brought what she requested. Lesmana opens his bag, takes out a bundle of money and a bunch of hair, and hands them to her. The woman first takes the hair, smells it, wraps it in paper, and eats it. Then she plucks a few strands of her own hair and forces him to eat them. After that, she snatches the money from him, sets it on fire, and throws it away. She then grabs his hand and makes a cut on it, which angers Lesmana, and he starts to leave. Suddenly, the lights go out, and when he turns around, he sees the woman levitating in the air, holding the goat's head in her hands. Shocked, Lesmana falls to his knees before her and says that he believes now and will serve her. Out of nowhere, money begins raining inside the room. Surprised, he turns to see his bag suddenly overflowing with cash, making him extremely happy. He also notices a live goat in the room as the woman descends back to the floor. She tells him, "Remember, Lesmana, the devil has accepted your oath. Even more wealth is waiting for you at home." She laughs maniacally as Lesmana runs upstairs with the bag full of money, and as he leaves, the door slams shut behind him.
Comment. Subscribe to Recapss Horror.
Next, we see that Lesmana has become rich overnight. Now a known businessman, appearing even in newspapers as the newest property entrepreneur. It is also revealed that his first wife, Intan, was found dead after committing suicide. He is now married to a former actress, Lakshmi Surya. Soon, however, Lesmana's business begins to collapse, and he faces sudden bankruptcy, forcing Lesmana Corporation to sell its assets. We are then introduced to Alfie, Lesmana's daughter with his first wife, traveling on a train. Suddenly, the lights go out, and for a moment, we see a spirit. The lights return, and she receives a phone call. The scene cuts to a hospital, where Alfie is entering an elevator. Again, a spirit appears behind her. Alfie senses its presence, but when she turns around, no one is there. Alfie then meets her step-siblings, Ruben and Maya, along with their friend Lily. As they walk in to see Lesmana, the nurse informs them that he is unresponsive, but they may still speak to him. She tells them he is showing signs of a stroke, a skin disorder, and organ failure. We then see how critical Lesmana's condition is, and it's revealed that Alfie hasn't seen him in 10 years. Maya explains that a year ago, he began visiting his old villa repeatedly, isolating himself. Alfie confirms, right after his bankruptcy, correct? Maya tells her that Alfie's issues with their father have nothing to do with her and Ruben. She adds that her mother plans to search the villa for any remaining assets, and informs Alfie that the villa is actually under her name. Alfie says she has no objections, and Maya says she'll go inform her mother. After everyone leaves, Alfie tells Lesmana that she thought she would feel satisfied seeing him suffer like this. We notice scratch marks on her hand. She says, "You abandoned me and my mother while you were successful and married that other woman." Suddenly, the lights go out, and Lesmana grabs Alfie's hand. Alfie hears a haunting sound from behind and sees a ghost behind the bedside screen. The ghost clutches the screen and reveals its half face. Terrified, she watches as the ghost slowly moves toward her until it suddenly disappears. Relieved, she realizes the hand holding hers is the ghost's. It lunges at her, terrifying her, but the lights return and everything appears normal. Suddenly, Lesmana attacks her. Hearing Alfie's screams, her siblings rush into the room. Alfie manages to push Lesmana away, and he falls to the floor with Lily. He then vomits blood all over her before collapsing. This incident leaves Alfie deeply traumatized. Next, Alfie sees her mother smiling at her, but suddenly an unseen force hurls her backwards. Alfie then wakes up and then looks at a photograph of herself with her mother, behind which are the keys to the villa. We then see her traveling to the villa. When she arrives, it looks old and abandoned. She enters the villa and notices her mother's old piano. Alfie then spots the cellar door, which is locked. Weird symbols are stuck on it. Suddenly, she hears a sound from upstairs and goes to her old room, where she sees her childhood photo and her old belongings. There, she spots a girl at the door who immediately runs away. Alfie follows her and overhears Lakshmi and her children talking about selling the villa. Alfie confronts them, shocking everyone. The girl who ran away turns out to be her other stepsister, Nara. Later that night, Lakshmi discusses selling the house with Alfie. Alfie accuses her of marrying her father for money and betraying her mother. Angered, Lakshmi slaps her, and Alfie retreats to her room. Lakshmi then instructs Maya and Reuben to search the house for any useful documents. Next, Reuben goes to Alfie's room, offering her food. He expresses his wish for the siblings to get along. They start bonding, but then Maya calls Reuben from downstairs. As he goes, she hands him a toolbox and asks him to unlock the cellar door. Meanwhile, Alfie tries to open another locked door. She notices chair slip marks on the floor, which help her find the door's key. She then opens the door, enters the room, and switches on the light, finding black magic items on a table and a childhood photo of herself. On the other hand, Reuben notices the symbols on the cellar door, which Maya removes, crushes, and discards. He struggles with unlocking the door, but eventually manages to break the lock. As Reuben opens the cellar door, an unseen spirit emerges and floats through the air, entering Lesmana's hospital room. Suddenly, Lesmana's eyes snap open. He starts coughing up blood and pulling clumps of hair from his mouth. The hair starts wrapping around his neck, strangling him and clinging to his face, pressing tightly. His body convulses violently before his head finally explodes. Back in the villa, Lakshmi asks Reuben to check inside the cellar. Reuben refuses, but Lakshmi insists, saying there might be a safe deposit box or valuables inside. Reluctantly, Reuben agrees, but Alfie stops him, saying something is wrong with this place, and telling them about what she saw upstairs. Lakshmi argues with her, and at that moment, Nara notices a hand emerging from the cellar. She tries to warn them, but before she can, the hand grabs Lakshmi's leg and violently drags her into the basement. Lakshmi tries to resist, struggling so hard that her nails break. Reuben and Alfie try to save her, but the demon inside pulls Lakshmi into the darkness. Maya tries to rush in to save her mother, but Reuben and Alfie stop her. Maya calls out to her mother, and suddenly haunting voices begin echoing from the cellar, terrifying everyone. The voice grows louder and more horrifying. Alfie tells Reuben to step back. Maya keeps calling her mom, and suddenly Lakshmi attacks her, now possessed, with a demonic appearance. Maya tries to fight back, but Lakshmi bites her hand, making her scream in terror. Alfie strikes Lakshmi on the head with a hammer, and after writhing in pain, she collapses. As Alfie tends to Maya, Lakshmi suddenly comes back to life. She pulls the hammer out of her skull, throws it aside, climbs up the wall, and starts laughing, terrifying everyone. She declares that fortune shall be paid with souls. Then she jumps down, leaps around the room, destroying everything, and finally glares at them before jumping out of the window. She looks around briefly and finally escapes the villa. Reuben quickly blocks the window and the cellar door with heavy furniture. Next, Alfie bandages Maya's hand when she notices a strange doll in Nara's hand. Nara says she found it outside, and Maya immediately tells her to throw it away. Alfie takes the doll from her, and Reuben asks her to come with him. Outside, they discover that Lakshmi has cut the car's wires. They return inside, where Alfie asks him to call for help as soon as his phone charges, saying there's a village down the path where Maya can get treated. Reuben suggests they all stay together, but Alfie says it isn't safe for Nara to go outside. Alfie then leaves for the village with Maya, but after walking only a short distance, Maya quietly asks whether Alfie hates her. Alfie denies it. Suddenly, they hear noises and spot Lakshmi in the distance, eating something while sitting on the ground. Maya cries, and Lakshmi hears them, starting to move toward them, but Alfie and Maya quickly hide. Alfie takes the hammer from her bag and goes to confront Lakshmi, but Maya finds a book inside Alfie's bag. While Alfie searches for Lakshmi, Maya questions her about the book, asking if she has been stalking their family. Before Alfie can explain, Maya misunderstands and runs away from her. Alfie tries to stop her, but she slips and falls into the mud. In that moment, Maya vanishes into the darkness. Alfie calls out her name repeatedly, but she's nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, back at the villa, Ruben calls Lily and tells her that his mother is possessed, asking her to come help. But just as he's about to send the location, his phone switches off. At that moment, Nara tells him she saw the person who took their mother. When Ruben asks where, she replies, in that scary room. Just then, Alfie returns home alone and tells Ruben everything. Ruben looks at the family album, noticing cuts slashed across their faces in the photos, making him suspicious of Alfie. She explains that she only kept the album because she needed something to hold on to, even if it reminded her of everything she hates. Ruben asks if she hates him, Maya, and Nara. Alfie says no, adding that she hates herself the most. Ruben then asks, "What about Maya? Do we just leave her out there?" Alfie suggests they look for Maya as soon as the sun rises. She then tells him there is something he needs to see downstairs. She takes him to the room with the black magic items. There, Ruben finds a notebook filled with photos of multiple women and concludes that Lesmana was not a good person. Alfie finds demonic sketches and points to one, telling Ruben she saw that same woman at the hospital. They also find the symbols that had been stuck on the cellar door and realize Lesmana was trying to keep something trapped inside. Reading another book, they learn about the dark priestesses, women who dedicate themselves to becoming concubines of the devil until doomsday, receiving supernatural powers in return. Ruben wonders why Lesmana would get involved with something like this. Alfie explains that he became rich overnight, then went bankrupt years later, and eventually kept returning to the villa. Ruben then asks how any of this connects to Alfie's mother and his own. As Ruben talks, Alfie suddenly feels dizzy and collapses. Meanwhile, in the woods, Maya wanders terrified, looking around cautiously. Suddenly, she sees Lakshmi staring at her from a distance and sticks out her unnaturally long tongue. Just then, Lakshmi lunges at her and is about to force her tongue into Maya's mouth, but Maya hits her with the torch and keeps striking her. Lakshmi briefly returns to her normal form, but then transforms back into a demon. This time, Maya brutally attacks her repeatedly, ultimately killing her. She breaks down, crying and screaming over the horror of what just happened. We then see an unseen spirit roaming around the house. It enters Nara's room and slips inside her almirah. The almirah door creaks open. In her mother's voice, the spirit calls Nara's name and says, "Accompany me. I'm lonely here." But Nara doesn't wake up. Suddenly, the spirit yells at her, making Nara jolt awake. She goes to check the almirah, and when she opens it, she sees a woman staring back at her. She looks again, and it's just a photograph of a woman. Relieved, Nara returns to her bed and lies down. Just then, the almirah opens again, and a woman steps out and crawls under Nara's bed, shaking it. Startled, Nara wakes up as the bed begins shaking violently. The ghost, still using her mother's voice, urges her to come along. Terrified, Nara screams, "You're not my mom!" And the shaking immediately stops. She checks under the bed but finds no one. Right then, the ghost appears behind her. Nara screams, and hearing her cry, Alfie and Ruben rush to her room. They see the ghost dragging Nara under the bed. They try to save her, and Ruben moves to the other side and pulls Ghost's legs, but the ghost turns on him. The ghost then scratches Alfie's hand and haunts her before vanishing. Nara is safe, but Alfie faints, and the scene shifts to her childhood. She is with her mother. Her mom tells her she has to step out and leaves the room, but an unseen entity suddenly pushes her with great force. The scene cuts to young Alfie holding her mother's hand as her mom hangs off the balcony. A ghost grabs her mom and starts moving toward Alfie, and her mother scratches Alfie's hand so she'll let go and escape the ghost. Her mother then falls, and the scene cuts to black. We then see Lily's car stuck in the forest. She tries calling Ruben, but his phone is switched off. Suddenly, someone knocks on her car window. It's Maya, looking strange and unsettling. Maya asks Lily what she's doing there. Lily explains that Ruben called her for help. Maya tells her to open the door, but Lily notices a hammer in Maya's hand through the side mirror. Scared, Lily tells her to leave and refuses to open the door. But Maya suddenly smashes the car window, opens the door, and brutally hits Lily with the hammer, killing her. We then see Maya entering the villa, looking completely different. After some time, she comes back to her senses, and we get a glimpse of the demon. She hears haunting voices and starts hallucinating, disturbing visions. She then enters the cellar and finds a black magic setup with 5 voodoo dolls tied with a rope lying there. As she examines them, a voice calls her name, claiming to be her mother. Maya begins apologizing, but then realizes it's not her mother at all. The devil, now speaking in its true haunting voice, asks Maya if she would like to become his follower. Under its influence, Maya agrees. And as she bends forward, we see a ghost behind her, and the scene cuts. Next, we see Alfie regain consciousness. She hears piano music and goes downstairs, where she finds her mother playing. Alfie sits beside her and says, "I know this isn't real, but I want to be with you again." Suddenly, her mother says, "Stay with me, Alfie. It's so dark in here." She grabs Alfie's hand and adds, "It should have been you. You should have been taken, Alfie." She then haunts her, saying, "You left me, Alfie, just like your dad." She laughs and covers her face with her hands. Blood begins dripping from her head, and she screams at Alfie before tearing the skin off her own face, revealing the priestess beneath it. At that moment, Alfie realizes it's actually Maya, who tries to calm her down. She notices Maya is wearing her mother's dress. Just then, Ruben and Nara arrive. Later, Alfie senses something is wrong with Maya. She tells Ruben they need to leave immediately, but he says he has already called Lily and she's on her way. Alfie shows him the injury on her arm caused by the ghost and reminds him of Lakshmi's warning, "Fortune shall be paid with souls." Maya suddenly starts laughing, and Alfie continues, saying the woman they saw last night took her mother, and now she has possessed his mother, and she will never let go of her or Nara. Maya says, "He will never let you leave." Ruben asks who he is, but Maya only laughs maniacally as the atmosphere turns terrifying. Alfie, Nara, and Ruben panic as objects begin to fall and furniture moves around them. They try to escape, but Maya repeats, "He will never let you leave." The lights explode, and they see a ghostly shadow outside the door, terrifying them further. Ruben tells Alfie to take care of Nara, and goes to find Maya. Upstairs, he finds Maya facing the wall and crying. As he approaches, she suddenly starts laughing. It isn't Maya, it's the same woman ghost who rushes toward him. Ruben runs and tries to lock himself in a room, but the ghost wedges herself between the door. She grows unnaturally tall and haunts him, but he finally forces the door shut. Then Maya appears behind him and says he wants Alfie and Nara. She reveals that she has killed Lakshmi and Lily, and then puts on the rope with the 5 voodoo dolls tied to it. She adds, "Mom is already beneath," and shows him a demon behind another door. "He's waiting for me, for you to return to his embrace," she says. When Ruben asks who he is, Maya whispers something in his ear. She tries to convince Ruben that together they can offer Alfie and Nara to the demon and settle Lesmana's debt with Satan. But Ruben refuses and slaps her. Enraged, Maya grabs Ruben's voodoo doll. She raises the doll's arm, causing Ruben's arm to rise involuntarily. Then she breaks the doll's arm. Ruben's real arm snaps instantly. When he tries to escape, she breaks the doll's leg too, sending Ruben tumbling down the stairs. Ruben warns Alfie and Nara to run, but Maya rips off the doll's head, killing him instantly. Alfie and Nara are terrified witnessing this. Maya then takes out Nara's voodoo doll and uses it to force Nara into the basement. She then controls Alfie, slamming her repeatedly against the floor, and the scene cuts. We then see Alfie regains consciousness in the cellar, where she witnesses a vision of the past. The priestess demands that Lesmana sacrifice Alfie, but he refuses, saying he cannot do that to his daughter. The priestess reminds him that he did sacrifice his first wife. She says he never kept his promise, and even now he has failed to pay his dues. Desperate, Lesmana gives her a lock of hair, but the priestess smells it and realizes he is deceiving her. Furious, Lesmana stabs her with a dagger. Enraged, the priestess plucks Lesmana's hair, wraps it in paper, and eats it. She laughs and curses him, saying he will lose everything when he least expects it, and warns him that he will be taken away along with his own flesh and blood. "Be ready to be taken, Lesmana," she screams. Hearing this, Lesmana snaps, hits her with a shovel, and keeps brutally striking her until she dies. He then buries her body right there in the cellar. The vision ends, and Alfie sees Maya on the stairs, completely possessed by the demon. Maya pricks a nail into Alfie's voodoo doll, causing Alfie to cry out in pain, and then pushes her back by controlling the doll. Alfie tries to reach the real Maya, but the demon inside says Maya has already embraced what she has become. Maya then twists Alfie's hands and cracks her fingers, controlling her doll. Just then, Alfie notices Maya's own voodoo doll hanging around her neck. Suddenly, Alfie starts laughing loudly. Shocked, Maya steps closer. Alfie talks to her calmly and cleverly distracts her long enough to take Maya's doll from her neck. Maya becomes furious and starts breaking Alfie's leg through the doll, making Alfie scream in agony. But Alfie shows Maya her doll and throws it into the fire. Maya's body begins to burn, and in a horrifying moment, she is burned alive in front of Alfie's eyes.
You're still watching? Good. Like, comment, and subscribe to Recapss Horror.
Alfie then rushes to Nara and tries to wake her, but the priestess appears and haunts Alfie. The cellar door slams shut. Alfie then starts digging at the spot where the priestess was buried. After an intense struggle, she uncovers the corpse. She reaches inside the corpse's mouth but finds nothing. She then takes the dagger from corpse's chest and repeatedly stabs priestess's stomach, searching for Lesmana's hair. Finally, she finds it. When she throws the hair into the fire, the wound on her hand heals instantly. But the priestess's ghost suddenly appears and drags Alfie into her grave, and the scene cuts to black. Sometime later, Alfie wakes up beside the priestess's corpse, wrapped in long strands of hair. Terrified, she screams. She picks up the dagger and cuts the hair wrapped around her body, trying to free herself. After getting free from the wrapped hair, she tried to climb out of the grave, but no matter how much she tries, she can't escape. Exhausted, she gives up until a hand reaches down toward her, believing it to be her mother's. Alfie grabs it. The hand pulls her up, and Alfie realizes it's Nara helping her. Alfie finally climbs out, breaks down in tears, and hugs Nara tightly. In the final scene, the two of them leave the house hand in hand. The camera pans across the wrecked house and stops at the open cellar door before the movie ends. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the chills, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a scare. Until next time, stay spooky.